doesn't really matter. Obviously using it on the first turn is going to make him burned right away, so this pursuit's not going to hit as hard. He does get that citrus berry off there, and that's I would say that's fairly good luck, because there's no guarantee the opponent's has a berry there. And you're going to see the pursuit didn't do too much damage because he didn't switch out. I don't think it would kill him anyway since he gets burned now, but the point is that if he's burned in the first time, he's not going to do nearly as much damage. You can set up the Trick Room really safely, and then now he's fast enough that he's not going to be in recovery cycles. You see, he recovers. The opponent's first to think, well, if I attack here, he's gonna be able to recover the damage off next turn, or he can still attack me. So, what do? He uses Sword Stance there, and you're gonna see he's got this Absol pretty much where he wants it. It's burned. It can't do any damage. He's forced to Sword Stance his way up, and you see he switches in Arcanine here. He's gonna use another Sword Stance. I think this is too much boosting on this Pokemon. He doesn't really need all this, but regardless, I mean I know the burn. The first Sword Stance only got him back to neutral damage. The second Sword Stance really only got him to where you would normally be, +2. So I mean, it's a question of whether or not to. You see he switches out Reuniclus when he sees that the Trick Room is going to be up. He does it on a turn when he thinks that he's not going to be pursued. He does use Roar with the Onyx to get that out of there. It's too boosted. He can't take it anymore. So it's burned anyways. So now it's reset. It's not a good Pokemon anymore. So you see he gets the Porygon 2 in here. Porygon 2 almost all. I mean, there's no reason to even use Porygon 2 unless it's got the Eviolite. So you're gonna see what he's gonna do. He moves in the Reuniclus. Reuniclus can easily take this Ice Beam. No question about that. He does use and he's gonna use Recover on the Porygon. The thing is, now he's got him where he wants him. He should have probably pulled the Porygon out instead of getting the recovery right there. Obviously, the Porygon is one of those Pokemon that can get stuck in recovery cycle, so he doesn't want to do that. But he does use recover, and it's going to cost him his Eviolite here, and that's pretty huge. Any Pokemon with an Eviolite without the Eviolite pretty much becomes average to sub-average. I would say Porygon 2 is only an average Pokemon. His base defenses are 90, so that's not too bad on their own. But it's with the Eviolite that they really become dangerous. So he gets also a chance to use Trick Room here because he used another Ice Beam with the Porygon. I think he knows that this is getting destroyed here. That is his first attack, if you notice, with the Reuniclus. He hasn't done any attacking with it other than that. You see he's doing most of the damage through Trick, and this is really a support Reuniclus. And you see he's got all the rolls here. So I mean, so far we've seen Reuniclus in a couple different roles. We've seen just a straight up special attacking role. That was the last time. We've seen him now in this Trick Room, but I would call this more of a Trick support role. What he's done so far. He's only attacked once with Psychic. It didn't do too much damage. It didn't kill off the Porygon or anything. And then the first game we saw him in I would call it I would call it a support role just because the only time he even got to use it really was in Illusion, and then he got stuck in this recovery cycle against some sort of electric Pokemon. I can't remember now. But, I mean, I think that this is definitely a very interesting weakness to set, and you can run on a lot of different teams. I know this is a 3 Pokemon battle. It kind of limits how much you can check everything. But Reuniclus like this, you see he's taking a lot of damage. He's able to recover it all off thanks to Trick Room. He can trick on any opponent, whatever item he wants really, because now he's got the Eviolite, so he can ruin something else if he wants to, like this Sosk. Is that what it's called even? I don't know. So he does manage to kill off with one Psychic. He finally attacks. Only the second time he's attacked now, and he's already killed, I think, 2 Pokemon off with that. Basically with the Reuniclus, because it can't be killed. Burn doesn't hurt it. Obviously, it's one of the few Pokemon that you can gladly move into Will-O-Wisp. Along with obviously your Flame Bodies, your Fire Boost Pokemon, and whatever else. So you see, and that's it. Then the opponent quits out, so you can tell it's an infuriating Pokemon to play against right there. So he does switch out. Not the end of the world. He does quit out. I mean, it sucks that he doesn't get the win for that. And so it was a great play. And I had another video which was such great play, and it would use a very similar trick set. It might even been the same player. I don't know. He uses the trick set with a burn. And that's a 6-on-6 battle, and you see it work just as well. Actually, I'd say it even works better. It's just amazing to see when you can use a Pokemon that doesn't even attack, and it does so much damage. It's really something else. Unfortunately, when I tried to get it, it had been pulled from online. I don't know why, but it had been. So this is what is this? This is the 4th battle that we're gonna watch here, and we're gonna see this one. We're gonna see I would say a classic Trick Room, just setup and sweep set. Really, just one Trick Room is all. Especially if you do a boosted special attack, one Trick Room is really all you need for Reuniclus to do some serious damage, and we're gonna see that here. We see the Breloom in here. This Breloom is exactly what he wants in here. As long as this Breloom is in, he can get his Reuniclus in here on a safe free switch. So you're gonna see he's gonna use Drain Punch here. It's barely gonna do any damage. He does have that 404 HP, which I kind of question, like, why go to 404 unless that's what he gets to naturally. I don't think it is though. He does get the 404. That's for the substitutes, but I've never seen a substitute Reuniclus set, so it's kind of question. I don't know why even go to 4-4. I don't know if he invested EVs into that or not. But regardless, there they are. So you see, he's gonna switch. He's forced to switch out the Breloom. Breloom has nothing to do here. He's gonna use Trick Room on this turn. I don't know if he even has recovery, but he knows he's switching to something where he can take more than a few hits from Breloom. It's not a problem, and he can kill off Breloom too. So you don't want to leave Breloom against that. What he is gonna switch in here is Gothitelle. Really, the counterpart to Reuniclus, not nearly as good as higher defenses, I suppose. It's Gothitelle's an okay Pokemon, but decidedly underused. Maybe, probably even never used. Really. So he's gonna take Shadow Ball here. He doesn't quite kill it off. So you can see Gothitelle's defenses are decent enough, but he's not gonna have the attack to deal with Reuniclus. So we're gonna see he uses Shadow Ball as well, and it doesn't do nearly the damage that he did, even though Gothitelle is definitely the higher defensive Pokemon. So you're gonna see Sandstorm chipping away. He does have leftovers on him. Reuniclus, I don't know what he's carrying. I would bet it's Life Orb, judging by how he's not taking any damage. He's obviously not Choice Spect or anything. He did use Trick Room. So I think it's gonna be Life Orb. He doesn't take any damage from it. You see, he set up the Trick Room, and now he's just gonna blast through things. He does predict that perfectly and use the Energy Ball there. I don't know how he knew that was coming. I guess Blastoise is. To be honest, I don't know why he knew Blastoise is coming there, but he did, and he used Energy Ball, or maybe he just assumed that Energy Ball is going to kill off Gothitelle and it's going to kill off Blastoise. He thinks Blastoise is coming. Blastoise must be able to take Shadow Ball pretty easily, so he does take him out of there. He does use another Energy Ball. Blastoise really not able to do anything on that, so you're gonna see he kills off Blastoise. He's almost killed off Gothitelle. Gothitelle is essentially dead for all intents and purposes. You see he switches in Scolipede here. This is obviously a terrible switch. He does use Psyshock, so you see his set. He has a pure Trick Room and then attack. There's no fucking around with Recover and no fucking around with Calm Mind or any of that bullshit. He's just gonna Trick Room when he can. He gets it in on the chance that he can. Breloom is the chance. Any fighting Pokemon really. Conkeldurr. There's a bunch pretty much. Once you get a fighting Pokemon in there, Reuniclus can usually move in pretty safely. Conkeldurr obviously can throw around a Stone Edge, not gonna do damage. You see Trick Room finally ends, and that's when Alakazam finally comes in. The opponent is obviously waiting for that, doesn't want to throw anything else down out, and he comes in, uses a Shadow Ball, kills him off. That's not too surprising. But Reuniclus has done his job already, so it's a question of he's killed off 3 Pokemon basically with a Trick Room. He didn't fuck around with Recovery. He just comes in. And this is a pure special attack. I assume it's got a Life Orb on it. He comes in, Life Orb, Trick Rooms on something that's fighting type like Breloom here. Breloom might give him trouble still now that Reuniclus is dead. Unfortunately, he does have Hippowdon here. Hippowdon's going to be able to take that, no problem. He can come in, kind of wall him off, slack off, do whatever he needs to do. Obviously, Poison Heal is going to give some trouble. And he does use Seed Bomb there, so that's going to do some considerable damage. So he does have Roar, so it doesn't really matter. You see, he's got the leftover. I got the tail back in there. So and that's another option with Reuniclus. A lot of people think you should set up with something, Trick Room, and then you can use Recovered or Instant Recovery, not forced in these sort of recovery cycles. Even though you can be forced into them if you're first, it's a lot more difficult because you can attack and do the damage first and kind of put the opponent on the defensive. So I would say that's one advantage to having Trick Room. But he dumps off. He gets rid of Recovery because he says, I'm going to come in and do the damage for this, and then when it dies, it dies. And as long as it's done 3 Pokemon worth of damage, it's way more than worth it, even if it is dead. So you see, he's going to pretty much own here with his Garchomp. He sends in this was a Swallow, I think. Swallow, and it's going to die. It gets burned. Must have maybe Guts and then Facade. That's going to do a lot of damage. So it is a critical hit. It kills off Garchomp. It doesn't really matter, though. Anything he's got here, he's going to be able to kill it. There you can see Reuniclus in another set. He's not playing a support role there because if he really gets on a roll, if you could take out his threats, his only threat there was Alakazam. You can see the opponent trying to hold it back until the Trick Room was over. If he takes out Alakazam, then he's got pretty much a full sweep there, and can't go wrong with a full sweep. Nothing wrong with that. So. What do we got next? So that was the end of that battle. So far we've seen, the dangers of the recovery cycle. I think that's the one problem with Reuniclus, and he is tempting to get into that because he has Recover. A lot of people want to run their Recovery on them, and you can't blame him for that because Recovery is such a great move. It gives the Pokemon so much more potential. But the problem is if you throw that potential away with a bad switch into something that you're going to take too much damage from, and don't recover it away. I lost another battle where this person switches in on damage every single time. But what he's doing is on Pokemon that he's going to force them to switch out as well. And on their switch, he always recovers, gets back to full health, and then he can do what he needs. Usually he pulls out Reuniclus. He gets the switch at least. Obviously, a type like that, you're going to need some sort of entry hazard damage. So Either way, this one is a very long battle, and I did leave it. It's gonna be 2 times the whole way through. Yeah, we're gonna see Reuniclus here. He's gonna switch in a number of times. Just watch how many times Reuniclus switches in without taking damage. He moves in every time on a move where he knows he's not gonna take any damage. I think maybe one time moves in on damage. So um, so we're gonna see he switches in on the spikes there. He uses Calm Mind. He does use Side Shock. He does do a lot of damage. It was a critical hit. He just roar it out. It's not a big deal. He's done the damage. Hippowdon. Obviously, if he can kill Hippowdon and get his Drizzle Polytoad set up here, he'll be in good shape. But we'll see if that can happen. So what I want to say about this one is, if you're gonna notice, every single time he's gonna switch in Reuniclus, he is gonna use Calm Mind almost every single time instead of attacking. I think that's a bad decision, and I think that's one of the temptations of a Calm Mind Reuniclus, is that if he gets in, you have to Calm Mind because he's so powerful once he gets the Calm Mind up. And he is really powerful when he gets the Calm Mind up, but I don't think it's worth it. We're going to see Dusclops here. This has EV light on it. Obviously, the trick Reuniclus will do very well here. He does correctly predict the focus blast there. This is actually an interesting battle on its own right, but I am going to mostly focus on how Reuniclus plays a role in it. So maybe I'll cast the full battle just on its own, maybe sometime in the future, but maybe not, because you can always find great battles online. It is really nice. So what I want to notice anyways, as I was saying, is that he Calm Minds every time he comes in, and he doesn't ever do any damage, and that's one of the things, unless you have entry hazards, and what he's doing with Reuniclus is forcing a lot of switches. You're going to see Reuniclus pretty much becomes his standard move into this Dusclops, which is Stuck in Rest. It does have Sleep Talk, which the opponent never uses for some reason. I can't say why. You see, he's fast asleep, uses Sleep Talk here, but for some reason, a little bit later in the battle, he just stopped using it. And after that, I think he's afraid it's always going to hit Rest or something. So he switches in Reuniclus there. He knows no damage is coming. Well, if we get kind of lucky that no damage comes. Either way, he moves in on a chance where he's not going to take too much damage anyways. So obviously an EV-Lite Pokemon, Reuniclus is happy to move on them, especially one with a special base like Porygon 2. He can come in, he can Calm Mind. This is a Calm Mind set. So you see he comes in here, he gets yawned out because he Calm Minds again. This Quagsire does become a real pain in the ass for this guy. Every time he switches in Reuniclus, Quagsire can come in, ignore the Calm Minds, and just yawn him out. Quagsire has recovery. It's really hard to hit him. He doesn't take a ton of damage from anything except for obviously grass. The usual stuff. The same stuff that bothers Swampert is going to bother Quagsire. So Ferrothorn is a good switch there. You're not going to do too much damage. You can use Earthquake, so and that would do decent damage. It wouldn't kill him off, and obviously Quagsire doesn't want to take a Power Whip, so. By the way, he moves in him there. He doesn't take any damage again. I think that's the third time. He does it a total of 6 times. He moves Reuniclus in 6 times, and that's pretty good for a Pokemon to move in 6 times. He does. You see, he uses Calm Mind there. I hate to say it, but if you have Stealth Rock up or Spikes, yeah, go ahead and Calm Mind, because you're going to be doing damage no matter what, as long as you force the opponent to switch.